Well, good evening and welcome to the SHAC. Different hat on this evening. My name's Barbara Gray from Clarity here in the UK, and welcome to an evening, or at least an hour or so, of keeping each other company. And I thought we'd do some colouring this evening and chill a bit. We've had a really busy day at Clarity and a little bit of a scramble to get home. And then, you know how it is, then the blimmin' mouse was dead as a dodo. So no mouse, no can do anything. So a little bit intense there for a moment, but it's okay. And our darling Grace from New York is in the room with you to keep you company. So if you have any questions, I'm sure she'll be able to help you. And, you know, the reason that Grace or Jilly or anybody is always in the room whenever we go live, whether it's Clarity TV, Groovy Tuesday, let me tell you, quite aside from helping you, putting up links, answering questions, and being a conduit between yourselves, your good selves, and whoever is presenting, like in this case, it's me this evening, right? There's also that safe element. Okay, so Grace, Julie, etc. If there are ever trolls, which we very seldom get, very seldom, if ever, because we police our groups, you know, and you got to know that we go to great lengths to ensure that our communities are safe and happy places. And that's why Grace is in the room with you this evening, to make sure that we don't have any unwelcome people. Not that we ever get any unwelcome people in our groups. You're always welcome. But you know what I mean? Sometimes you get a couple of dodgy, some bad uns in, and our people, our team, get rid of them very quickly. So there you go. Yeah, so had a really fabulous day. Janice Phillips came down and spent the day with us. And if you did watch this afternoon, you will have seen that we presented and pitched and showed you her beautiful photo stamps. Okay, just really lovely timestamps. So, you know, more will be revealed on that. She's on her way back up to Leicester now with a box of goodies, all excited. And yeah, it's very, very good. She's such a nice lady, and she's a very talented, very modest person. So it's such a pleasure to work with her. And her and Jim got on like a house on fire. So that's really great. And Jazz and her. So it was just nice for her to meet the team, you know, because I look forward to a long and fruitful relationship, a really long and fruitful collaboration with my friend Janice. You know, it's been a while coming. So that'll be great. Yeah, come on in. I love Janice's stamps. Yeah, Angela, me too, you know. Beautiful to use as well. I do know that we're going to launch them, like on the Clarity website. We're going to launch them. I think we said the 7th. The 7th, it's a Friday, if I'm not mistaken, the 7th of February at 10 a.m. They even said it on the packet. But then Janice, a few days prior to that, she's going to have her own private launch, which is, you know, only fair. Yeah, so it'll be cool. So lovely design team, Clarity team. Any day now, those stamps will be winging their way to you, because we'd really like you to get on board with some beautiful artwork, as always, as ever. And I'm just coming down. So just bear with me a couple of minutes. Come on in. Yeah, we got great company again this evening. So let's have a look. What are we doing in the SHAC? Well, this evening, do you want to see? You want to see my notes? You want to know how well prepared I am today? Right, ready? I always have a book, okay, where I put little prompts in to help me remember what I'm doing and what I need to mention and what I'm talking about, right? This is the sum of my prep for this evening. There you go. We're on O for orchid. and I'll see you tomorrow at 10 and 2. That was it. That was as much as I managed to rustle up today, friends. Although having said that, I did colour in an orchid in between Janice and me and being here. I changed my top and coloured in an orchid. I mean, what else would you do on your hour off, eh? Been really busy on the phones as well. Loads of you have been signing up for the news is out, of course, that the retreat dates are official and the workshop dates and the open dates and so on. So a lot of you will have received your club newsletters and your club project envelopes today. They're going out. I saw them going out by the box load this afternoon, like big sackfuls, and so that means that loads went out yesterday as well. So I know that lots of you have got that news, and thank you so much for already subscribing and joining and enrolling. You know, that's a massive, massive help right at the right time as well. So brilliant. Thank you. If you're wondering what I'm talking about, if you go online and you go to the area that says workshops, courses and retreats, it's something like that. Anyway, I'm sure Grace will give you the link. There are all the different retreats and workshops and open day tickets are available from now. Ditton tickets purchased. There you go. Thank you, Mandy. Yeah, the open days this year. So what we do is we've got the open days. I think it's the 29th and the 30th. 30 days have September, April, June, and May. Okay, 30th and 31st of May are the open days. We brought them forward a week. And then there's a workshop on the Sunday with either myself, inky jelly plate stuff, or with lovely Linda Williams, parchment. Yeah. See, so what we've done is, because a lot of people come from a long way away to the open days, we said, well, why don't we book the hall for another day, 2 halls, in fact, one for parchment, one for us, and then you know, people can stay overnight and they're already in the area, so it seems like a long way to come. Yeah, so that's the idea anyway. So a few different things. The newsletters will explain everything. And so let's see, what are we doing at the moment in the SHAC? Well, we're on the letter O, and this year, new year, new idea, we thought we would introduce an element of colour. We're going to inject colour into our doodling and drawing and illustrating. I think it would be really good to get with the colour again. So we're going to go for owls we're drawing the owls, you know, from the Feathered Friends. We're doing that on Monday, but I thought Thursday would be lovely to get the brand new. Remember, I've been going on and on about this. Lisa Gray reminded me gently, and I really appreciated it because it had gone with everything that went on last year. I completely spaced this, so I really appreciated her giving me a nudge. And what we decided we were going to do was, loads of you had purchased these beautiful posters, which are like bite size. You know, on our quest for mini makes, these are part of a greater whole. But the lovely thing is, you're only tackling a little letter at a time, and so I've already done a few of them. Right, there you go. And I thought, right, well, on a Thursday evening, if we're not doing anything else, why don't we always tackle the poster or a couple of letters in the poster? So look, I told you, I shot home and sorted out the O for orchid. I thought, which orchid am I going to do? And then I thought, I like that one. And also, I mean, the orchid is a perfect flower to start with colouring in, because there are so many phenomenal colours of orchids, aren't there? And we could talk about orchids and what they symbolize. I thought this would be really nice, you know, as we're going through the poster, because when I illustrated these letters, yeah, it was phonetic. So in other words, you know, I picked a flower that matched the letter. Okay, so O, orchid, P, poppy, A, agapanthus or allium, you see? And I thought what we could do is, one, we tackle different letters and then find out what the flowers symbolize in different parts, in different cultures, you know. And then that way the lovely thing about flowers is, of course, there are so many gorgeous colors, right? What we're going to use to color in, well, we don't need much. Once you've got this poster, really, once you've got the poster, and then you need some colouring pencils. So we've got pergoliners, and I thought I'd try to the best of my ability. I'm going to stick with pergoliners, okay? The ones that we sell, right? Because I thought, well, they're good, you know, they're very good. You've got watercolour and you've got the oil-based pencils, the B pencils, the blending pencils, as we call them, right? So you got 16 of them. So I thought we'll go with that. But we'll also use some polychromos. The polychromos are the Faber-Castell ones, right? You could use whatever you've got in the cupboard. You can use whatever you've got in the cupboard, right? And the thing about, you know, there are just a couple of tricks and tips. First of all, what I would say is that you write down the colours that you use when you settle on a colour. So that way, when you go to do poster number 2, numero dos, if you want to replicate it, you know which colours you use, right? And the other thing is that you don't lose this little bit of paper. So you maybe get a little tin, a little box or something, or even a little book. You know, you can use bits of paper to do it, or you can use a little book, make a little note of your colours. So if you're going to do the O for orchid, then just write down which pencils you settle on. You know, that's all. It's that easy, really. Yeah. And other than that, I think we'll be all right. The only things I'm going to use in addition during the next, because it will be a few weeks on a Thursday doing those letters, you know, we might get 2 or 3 done in an evening, but, you know, we're traveling gently here. And, you know, if I can't find the right color that I really, really want in the pergoliners, because the colors are, you know, there are only so many, I've got like 120 polychromos. I treated myself. Yeah. Do we sell polychromos? We sell the box of 12. We sell the grayscale ones, you know, all the grays. And there's some pretty cool ones actually in there. We've got the ivory I'm going to use, and the cream and the metallics and all different grayscale. So we got them. I put them in this, I just keep them in here so I don't lose them. But you see, I've got, you know, that's all we sell for the Faber. We used to sell the big tins, but we can't compete with the prices, friends. Okay, there's just the way it is. You know, the distributors in this country are just, it's impossible to compete with the prices. So these we have, and you know, we get a good price because we buy lots of them. But to be honest, Cass Art Discount, Jackson, all these different discount art companies, we can't compete. We pay more, right, to buy them in than you can buy them from them. So why would I do that? Not at this particular point in my life am I in a position to do that. Okay, so if you wanted to treat yourself to Faber-Castell polychromos, and I do maintain that they are the best in the world, there's nothing like them, right? Then just wait until there's a sale. Wait until Cass Art has a sale, or Art Discount, you know, Jackson's. And you can get fantastic deals. Really good. But do us a favour and get the set of 12 from us. We've got a lot of them. And like I say, the pergoliners, they're beautiful and they do the job. I'm going to stick to pergoliners to the best of my ability. All right. Right, that's that. That's all I have to say on that matter. And then other than that, good pair of glasses. Because the artwork is mini makes, we're dealing with the mini make. Do you know how many people have joined that group now? I haven't had time to look today, but last time I looked, it was over 650. Gracie, you're policing that group, hey? She's a monkey. Yeah. How many people, Grace, are in that group? Let me know. What else was I going to say? Right. Okay. Good pair of glasses. I honestly, it's when I'm doing parchment art or close-up work, a good pair of readers, they just like magnifiers, you know, and they keep me in the line. They keep me inside the line, which is good. And then the only other thing, you know, on the subject of 705 members, there you go. It's called Clarity Crafts, Mini Makes and ATCs. And the whole idea, we've created this safe group. Most of you will be familiar with it. We've created this group where we're just building our mojo back. A lot of us have lost our mojo. Confidence building, mojo building, community building, just little bits and pieces. Joining up the ATCs, Jane Telford, Elizabeth Goldsmith, they're building the ATC groups for us there. The swap lists are done now and ready to go live tomorrow. Jane, am I on that list? I do hope so. I'd like to be. Sorry if I didn't make the cut this time, but I really would like to be on the list. I'd like to be involved. Okay, so Jane, just let me know if I'm on the list because I'd like to be. And if I'm not, okay, I'll join next month, but I'd really like to be. Now I buy polychromos one at a time. There you go. You need a good pencil sharpener. These are good. The Faber-Castell. Did you get the feeling I'm a Faber-Castell fan? Right. I'm on the ATC list. Thank you. So there you go. I'm gonna join in the group, the swap, which I think is really good. It's good for me too. Right, that's it. And then perhaps, you know, the other thing that I might use is if we're using the B pencils or the polychromos, I may use some Dorso oil to do some blending. All right. Most of you will be familiar with this. Dorso oil, it's not just for parchment, the blending pen and the blending nibs. So this is something, if you want to up your colouring game, okay, then you need your blending nibs and you need the Dorso oil, okay? Right, let's get started. And I'll show you the O that I did, because I looked at the orchids when I got home, and I really like the orchids that are creamy coloured and they have like the pink and like a speckle on them. And I thought that's a good one to go to because it's one of the flowers. It's a technique, stippling. And I thought, right, well, let's do some stippling while we're colouring in the O for orchid. So there's the one I've already done. Right, it's all right. You get 3 posters. So I'm going to join in with a virgin poster. There you go. Paul's on the PTC list. Oh, we've enrolled him as well. Right, that's the one I'm going for. O for orchid. Okay. And then I thought what we could do is go O for orchid and then maybe jump up to the allium. Yeah. Bougainvillea, cornflower, daisy, edelweiss, fuchsia, gladioli, honeysuckle, iris, japonica, Knopfilia or something, lily of the valley, mimosa, narcissi, O for orchid. So it did not help. Poppy, Q, I can't remember. R, rose, S, sweet pea, tulip, and so it goes on. Ursinnium, viola, wisteria, Zenobia or something, yarrow, can't remember. There you go. Cool. Right, O for orchid it is then. And while we're doing this, I'm going to put me tips. I'll put that away, get some space. I don't think I need that today. Right, O for orchid. And what I'll do is I'll clear a little space so that I can come in a little closer, baby. How about that? Right, there we are. So the first colours I'm going to use, I wrote them out for you already. Ivory, Faber-Castell. So we need a kind of an undercoat. And what we're going to do, let's come in a bit closer so we can see this, right? There we go. Come in a bit tighter. Oh, excuse me. Right, there you go. You can see that better now, can't you? See, so you've got this undercoat, but you've got that speckle. Do you know the orchids that I mean? I think you do. I think you do. I had a look earlier. Well, I had exactly 40 minutes to do this. But what I wanted to just show is, so there's a little bit of translucency here. You see how I've tried to make it so that, because they're almost translucent, the petals. And I thought it'd be really, really nice to create that like gentle translucency. So let's get our pencils out first. Ivory, Faber-Castell. Then I went in my pergolina stash, and I've got that fuchsia colour, B14. Then for the leaves, I went light green, B7. And then I went A15. So A stands for aqua. Okay, but honestly, they work just as well. You can use the watercolour pencils dry. No worries at all. A for aqua. Then I went for a dark green, B6. So that you can blend them beautifully, especially, and that's where your dorso oil comes in. You know, you can get some really nice blends going on that. Right. And then I put a little flash of orange. So I had a little look and I thought a really nice light orange is in the middle. B9. There you go. So in the end, I managed to do the whole thing apart from the undercoat. And this one, the ivory, is in that stash, in that set of 12 that I was talking about, that one there. Right, it's in there. Because you've got a creamy one, that one, and then you've got the ivory one, which is like an off-white. Yeah, yep. So, first thing we're going to do is put an undercoat on the flowers, okay? I'll leave that one there so we can see it. Is that okay? Can we see that? Right, okay. I need a cup of tea. Cool, I have got a crowner. Dave's got us a pizza for after this. Pizza. Can't wait. Oh no. All the best laid intentions. I bought really nice pies from the butcher, the local butcher. That'll have to wait till tomorrow or it'll go in the freezer. Right, O for orchid. Are we ready? And then while we're doing this, I'm going to tell you all about orchids and what they stand for. Because Gracie, well, Grace wrote out loads for me. And so let's talk about technique now. First of all, have a little bit of card to the side so that you can, you see, this is the trouble. When you're using ivory, you can't see it. But you need an undercoat. You need something that's not white. Right, so we're just going to lightly, if I take a darker colour, you can see the motion, what I'm actually doing. Let me take a grey, okay? Pretend this now, pretend this is ivory, all right? Or Elfenbein, I think it's called in German. There you go, Elfenbein. Right, so what I'm doing with this is I'm using the side of the pencil. I'm doing little circular motions like that. But because you can't actually see it, right, because it's off-white, it's quite hard to see what I'm doing. But when you're shading in, right, let me just get, let me wear this out a little bit. Let me wear this down. I've got a bit of sandpaper, right? I just want to get a bit of a chisel, like a flatter edge. Over a period of time, what happens is, that's better. So now I've got, pretend this is a colouring, lesson in colouring, right? So you've got choices. Pretend this is before we start, when you want to do a really light layer with these pencils, you've got choices. You can look, just shade like that. You can go in circles like that. So you either go back and forth, whichever you're comfortable with, or you go round in circles like that. Okay. If you want to get more shade on one side, then you just, it's all about the lightness. Say that's the side of the petal, right? Then what you're doing is so that's the side of the petal. You can hatch, like you can pull away from see? So you can shade like that, or you can cross hatch. So in other words, you're going across diagonally like that. Yeah. You can get in light like that, and you just keep kissing that line, and then what I do is I feather it out. So I go like that, and then I feather out, go like that, and then I feather out again. So you can feather that way or that way, hatch or cross hatch. Okay, go in a circle if you've got larger areas, but what you're doing is you've got like a flat here, and what will happen is, let me tell you, if you press too hard, right, if you want to make it really dark, what will happen is you won't be able to get any other color on here, and also this then seals, so it's almost like an oil seal. So all you need to do is just a little bit. Yeah, here they are. I couldn't find it earlier. We used to sell these, don't sell them anymore. They're like sandpaper blocks. You can get them at art shops, right? And they're just like loads of little bits of sandpaper like that. Okay. And then you just rough up the edge of the paper. And what you're doing now is you're loosening up the pigment again. And what you'll find is you get a far better application. Right. So what happens is sometimes you'll be going along and you think, well, I'm not actually applying any color, and it might be that the pigment has sealed itself, and really literally all you've got to do is just run it on a bit of sandpaper like that, and it's working again. So I've got a nice flat, like a chisel edge now. Okay, and here we go. So what we're going to do is right, I'm going to put my Dame Edna's on. These are my magnifiers, so I can see what I'm doing. And now what we're going to do is we're just going to see, actually what I'm doing is circular. I'm going circular, but not pressing hard. Okay. And I'm staying within the line. And you don't have to be too exact. You're just putting down a kind of an undercoat, just a tiny little a layer. Okay, on the flowers. Just stay in the line though. There you go. Just softly. You can always add more. And the other thing which I love about these, right, these particular, these pencils and the pergoliners as well, these are oil based, right? What I really like about them is that if you overcook it, if you put too much down, you just take an eraser pencil and you can take it back up again. You lift it back off again. So you can't really, if you feel you've added too much colour, you can take a pencil. I mean, most of you probably know this. I'm just looking for my pencil. Bear with me a second. I did have it earlier. Here it is. There it is. See? So I've got a pencil with two ends. I've got a pink end. That's for like if I felt I put too much green in here, I could sharpen this pencil and I could just lift that green back off again. Now the white end, that's the one that actually lifts ink. So, when we're taking out colour on the back of parchment or on paper. Okay. Right, so get my chisel back again, that side. And all I'm going to do is just add an undercoat of that ivory so that we've got this nice colour. Okay. I think you know which. Right. So we've got that flat. We've got we've got flower there, flower there. Okay. Bit of that in there. Right. You can always turn it around. See, what's nice is if you've got a chisel on one side, when you turn it round, let me show you. If I'm going to use the grey because you can't see it with the ivory. Probably not the best one to start with, but that's okay. We're easing ourselves in slowly here. Ivory is very forgiving, isn't it? See, so on that side, I've got a chisel. So I've got a really nice soft shading edge. If I flip this round 180, right, I've got a really sharp line. See, so if I want to get in on and get some shading in, I just have to flick it round. Soft, sharp, right, all on one pencil. Okay, so here you can see, if I put this up against a darker edge, you can see I've got my chisel and I've got a really sharp edge there too if I want to get in on, like on the detail. Do we want to spend an hour on one letter? I don't think it's so much about how much time we spend on this. It's about the technique, okay? It's about learning and building the confidence. Okay, so I'm happy with that. Right, now next thing, we're going to go in now with a pink. But what we want to do is stipple. So stippling, it requires holding the pencil. I know loads of you have done this with me. We've done this before. But what we're going to do is go over it again. Okay, so stippling is when you hold the pencil like so. In parchment art, for example, you do it with a single needle, right? So here we're doing it with pencils, and you get beautiful shading. The reason I'm telling you this is because on Monday, when we do the O for owls, right, it's all about the stippling to get that beautiful feathered effect, that soft down of an owl. It's all about very gentle stippling, just one layer after another after another. I will show you how to do it, but it's all about those lovely greys, the soft beige and those lovely light greys. And you just stipple and feather and stipple. It's quite something. So this is like a little training session. So here, what we're going to do is over the top, right? Instead of shading, we're going to stipple. We're just going to dot. And the longer you stay in one area, the darker it will get. Do you see? If you want it to be lighter, just don't press so hard. But what you'll find is, like I'll show you, let's just put some shade in here. If I stay upright now, okay, and I just start dotting in that area. Because I've done an undercoat with that ivory colour, it's softer than if I go straight to the white, right? It kind of mutes it, okay? So what we're going to do is sharpen the pencil. See, I think what I need to do is just rough up the pigment. You know, when I say sometimes you can't, it's not doing anything. Right, let's go again. So that's the shading in there. And if I wanted to make a shade up here and up there, what I'm going to do is just travel up there with the dotting. Dot, 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 dot to the top. Come around this way. Dot, dot, dot to the top. So go up that side. See? And up that side. Let's come in here. See? And the longer I stay in that area there, the darker it will get. Does that make sense? There you go. See, we can add some shade in a minute, but the stippling also acts as a kind of a resist. So up we go. See how you shade? Like it's building. You're building. And when you look at these particular orchids, these ones that we're doing here, right, let's do a bit on this side now. A bit more shading on this side. Try and stay away from the edge because it gives it a really nice effect. Let's come down on this side here now. We're going this area here. So we're going to travel to there. in a kind of a gentle curve, like that. And maybe we'll come in there, like that side as well. So let's go up here. Okay, like that. And then on this side as well. And I think you know exactly which orchids I'm talking about, don't you? I mean, there are thousands of different types of orchids. Let me just see if I, yeah, there you go. Do you remember? That's what we're after. That's what I went for. Now, if you look at the dots on there, let me show you. See how the dots go to the points? You see, like a star. If you sort of see it, you can see the translucency of the flower, the petal, and you can see where the dots are quite intense in the center, and then they go out. That's all we're doing. Okay, not too bad. Not too bad at all. Now, let's have a look. So let's keep going. And we want it to be darker in the center, so we just stipple more in that area. Underneath here as well, another line there. So apparently, and I know I'm presenter and illustrator now, here we go. So back in Victorian times, see if I can tell you this and do this at the same time. Back in Victorian times, orchids were seen as quite the rich man's flower. They were very, very, they were a sign of wealth, really, okay? And they're one of the oldest flowers in existence, but for the Victorians, they were a real status symbol. Right, now, let's go up here as well, because we've put an undercoat on all of these. See? Right, so we've done that. We can always add a bit more. Let's do a bit more over there. So they were a real status symbol. And a lot of real serious money was spent on orchids. They were decadent, you know, and really only the very wealthy could afford to even have orchids in their homes, because they're quite I've never managed to keep an orchid alive yet. A number of times I've been given an orchid, right? I don't know about if you're like this. and then you keep it in the bathroom, don't you, on the windowsill, and then it dies. And in the end, you just got a stalk, sad stalk, and the flowers have gone. But at least they last quite a while, don't they? Right, up we go. Up we go. Stipple, stipple, stipple. It's all right. In a minute, we're going to sharpen the pencil and then we'll do some shading. Yeah, so Grace tells me that the Victorians, they were so highly sought after that they had something called orchid delirium. Well, yeah. Giving me an orchid is a complete waste of money. I could tell you that. I cannot keep them alive. Who here can keep orchids alive? Now, where was I? Jersey. We went to Jersey with my mum and dad, and it was on the other side of the island from where we were staying, and we went to this fantastic, like a greenhouse on the other side of the island of Jersey, and it was it specialized in these amazing, like phenomenal orchids. I've never seen anything like it. How's your stippling coming? Are we bored yet? But you can see how you're just literally doing, that's it. But because you put the ivory underneath, you see, it's not quite as dark, it's not as severe. Okay. Now, what we're going to do next is add a bit of shade. So we're going to take the same pencil and we'll just add a little bit of shade. So now we're getting a bit of dimension. So you see which which leaf. Oh, I've got the wrong glasses on. I thought suddenly I can't see as well as I did before. Ah, that's better. Right. So I'm just going to add. So if you want to get in tight, come on, you mini makers. What we need to do here, this is where we get our eye in. Look. Okay, lovely. So now I'm going in here and I'm just going to add a bit of shade around there. The secret to this trick, that what we're doing here, is to not press so hard and build up the layers. Okay, turn your pencil and then just keep putting. See, in the middle there, you want it to be dark, contrast. So it comes in here. There you go. Bit of shadow around the bottom. There, like that. Okay. You seeing this all right? There, that'll be nice. Right, and then, so we don't colour in the wrong part, I tell you, I know who would have loved doing this. Pat Hosking. This would have been right up her street, wouldn't it? Do you know, it's a year almost since she left us. Nearly a year. But, tell you what's lovely, I had a really good conversation with her daughter, Sarah, today, which was really so nice to listen and speak to Sarah. She's such a good woman. So it was like having her mum back, you know, really lovely. Yeah. See, and if you want it to be dark, just press slightly harder. See how you're starting to get a little bit of shade and dimension. There you go. And now when we sharpen it, flick, 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 just to get that depth. And best not to, if your pencil crumbles a little bit, they're pretty good. But if you press too hard and you get a bit of a, it's best to blow rather than use your finger, because that's likely to smear. How does she know these things? Yeah, well, there you go. Right. So that's it, really. You need a good picture to copy to start with, so you get the colours right. Yeah. Stipple. Starting to look good, look already. Now, let's take the orange. Let's just make sure that we've got the right bit. Yeah. Let's have a look. I need to sharpen it. How are we doing, Grace? Are we okay? Let's have a look. Is Grace there? Yeah. She sent me a really good guide, a great, easy to read orchid symbolism guide. Well, I can't do this and do that. So now with this bit, I'm just going for it bold on the orange because I just want it to be like a little flash of gold right in the middle. Yeah. Now that's it. That's all I need to do. And now I can come back in with my dark colour there. See, so I just didn't want to get the wrong bit. That's it. Cool. Very nice. So you got your shadow there. Got a bit of shadow here. Is Lisa Gray in the building? Are you there, Lisa? I hope this is enjoyable. Oh, good. Gracie says she just shared that in the chat. I am so glad. Be interesting for you to read up and find out. There we go. Nice. See? So the trick with this is to gently does it. Gently does it. And then stippling just gives you that fantastic texture. And you're going to, tell you what, when we do the owls on Monday, you're going to be stippled out. But I think it works really, really well. And you could be very specific as well when you do this, you know, like I'm going back for this area here now. Have you been tracking the fires in LA? Good Lord. What is going on, eh? Shocking. Absolutely shocking. Doesn't that look lovely? Right, now I'll tell you what we will do. We'll go back to the ivory now. Let's see if we can intensify that ivory. See, I'm quite happy now to get another little bit more depth on that colour. And what you'll find is when you go a little bit over the top of the stippling, kind of blends it really nicely. Okay, look. There you go. It's almost like you're sealing it. Looks good. Looks really good when you do this. Get a good effect. I mean, let me get this straight with you. I am no expert, right? I really am not. I didn't go to art college. But I know what, I know a few tricks. There, this looks good. I love it. I like that one better than that one. See, this one's a little bit more intense than this one. I guess it's because I know I want you to see it, Right. And then we'll get a little bit of stippling, just a tiny little bit in there. Now, the thing is, when you're in tiny areas like those buds there, you almost have to not bounce so much, Gently does it. You'll get the shade in. Right, and then lightly does it. God, there's nothing like it, is there, for relaxing? That'll do. Right, stop it there for a minute. Okay, a bit of green. Should we go for a bit of green? Come on then. Okay, green it is. So I'm going to go for a light green. What am I using here? B7. B7. Okay, light green, that one. Just as a bit of a, very lightly. There you go. I'm using this almost in the same way as I used that ivory, okay? Yeah, terrible fires. So our mark is actually in San Francisco, where it's raining, fortunately. But I mean, what a shocking. When we used to live in California, we lived we always lived in Northern California. But of course we used to go down to Southern California, where LA is, quite often really. I had a friend who lived in San Bernardino, which is a suburb of LA. And so you just go and see Kathy. But this area here, where the fires are, the Palisades, this is a wealthy, very, very wealthy, this is Millionaire's Corner, the area that's got problems. Terrible. It's those winds, isn't it? This is like what happened in Lahaina, Those winds are bringing in the fire from inland. It's just shocking how quickly it can go as well. It's like a tinderbox, isn't it? But they've had no rain, and then off it goes. Right, just get that lovely colour in there. There, see? I've noticed that what I'm doing here is I'm colouring in the one that hasn't got the grayscale. See, this one's got grayscale on the O, yeah? So the one that I'm doing here has got the grey flower, and the one I'm doing here is open, so we can colour in the letter as well. That's quite cool. I thought it looked different. I'm trying to work out why it looked different. So then we'll go to a darker green. So let's have a look. Now I'm going to go to what about if let's just fast forward to that's very dark, that green. But this is an exercise in lightness, not not pressing too hard. So let's just blend those colours now. Let's bring a little bit of that dark green. Look at that. It's nice. What colour is this? B6. Yeah. So we just come in from the tip and we just flash that up there. I mean, if you've got the polychromos, then, you know, you've got a really good selection. But like I say, wait until there's a sale on before you buy them, because you know, you're looking at, they retail for about £3 a pencil. It's strong. Yeah. There, that's nice. I've got to sharpen it as well. And then I'm also going to turn this around, make it come towards me, because I prefer to pull this colour. So you just have to, that's better. I'm catering to the person who's only got the polychromos and who can only afford not the polychromos, the pergoliners. See? So I'm catering to that person. There you go. Apart from the fact we've got a warehouse full of pergoliners. Right, now, let's see. Just going to sharpen that dark green again, because I want to get in on that. Right, there we go. Yeah, oh, they are good, you know. Just sweep through gently there. Nice. So nice to do. Look at this. Right. Oh, missed out of the picture range. Sorry. Good. Good. Yeah, so tomorrow. Right, see, I'm just bringing it round so I can make the artwork come to me. That would be nice. Right, bit of shadow here as well, so that's a bit darker. Going in that stalk. Just do it at the top. And then here, by the letter. Yeah? What you've got to know is, this is just a piece of paper. Don't use it like a practice plate, you know, you've got three posters. You got, if I'm not mistaken, how many have we got here? We've got, I know there's, well, you've got a key as well. That's handy. There you go, look. You've got the key, handy. And then you've got the white out where you've got the grey one. How many of each have you got? Can you tell me? I think, what have you got? Oh, yeah, there we go. You've got 3 A3 posters, one with light grey lettering. Okay, so if you think the light grey lettering one is the best one, then this one's for test, and then the light grey one's for best. Do you see? That's entirely up to you. But what you could also do is add your own grayscale. So on the letter itself, if I need to definitely do something on the letter. So how about, let's just check this out. I need to decide which colour grey I want to use. So what you've got to do then is, let me just check. What grey do I think I want to use for the, let's have a look. That looks like a good one. Cold grey 3, I reckon. Let me just put this next to the cold grey 3. Let me just check this out. I know I'm really up close. That's the colour I want to use for the letter, for the actual letter. Okay. So we've done the flower. And now we're going to go put the letter in. I think that's going to be good. So you could, if you wanted to, you could do the letter, all the letters at the end together, couldn't you? Or you can tackle each one. Just make a mental note that you're going to use the same grey. It's really good practice. Do you know that? I'll show you. And if you want this to be as smooth as the printed letter, then you know what? All you've got to do is blend it with the Dorso oil, and it will come out like the printed one. There you go. Let's just get that colour it in layers though. Right. How are we doing here? How are we doing? There. See, I'm using the chisel, so I know I'm getting a real nice smooth grey. That makes a difference, doesn't it? There you go. There's that circular motion. See? So I've done one layer of the grey. Looks pretty good, doesn't it? Now I can decide. Here's choices I've got now. Just turn that around a little bit more. See, and what we could do, I'll tell you what we could do, is do all the blending with the Dorso oil on the grey. When we've done all our letters, we could go all the way through and smooth out the grey. We don't have to do each one individually. Do you see what I mean? Because that might be easy. But look how they're so rich, these pencils. Look. There you just go over with your chisel, the chisel edge of your pencil. See, I'm in no rush. That's the bottom line here. And I get a lot. It's good for my head. Colouring in is a real mindful process for me. You know, we did this when we were in lockdown. But look how pretty this is. And now we've added the letter. Yeah. See, I just enjoy colouring. I really do. And then, see, for the sake of just showing you one, what I will do, okay, as we go through now, the weeks, I'm just going to show you on this one letter how the Dorso oil works, okay? And then what we won't do each letter as it comes up. We'll do them all in one hit. But I just want to show you, if you're colouring in, look, that's the printed one, the pre-printed grey, the shaded one, and this is the one that I've just done. So I can, and the other thing is, what you've got to know is if it's a bit blotchy or textured, that's okay. Really, it is. But if you wanted to smooth it out so it looks like this, you could do that in layers as well. Let me just grab my Dorso oil. I've got a spot-on sponge. There you go. Let me just show you. Most of you know exactly how this works, but I'm going to show you. Look, take a spot-on sponge, put a bit of Dorso oil on there. Right. When you're using it on card, I mean, we're using the smallest amount because, of course, it's the smallest area, isn't it? Let's just take a clean nib. Okay. This could be our grey one because we're going to use it all the time, aren't we? And then you get your blending pen, right, and you pop that in there like so. Okay. And then what we're going to do, if I just, let me show you on here how it works. See, so this is quite granular, right? And then when I use my Dorso oil, it blends it. Look, see how it goes from quite gritty. There, you don't want too much, but you can see how that granular pencil, it really helps, okay? So, so what I'll do is, it's a tiny area. So I'm going to go up and I'm going to use small circular motions. Look, and round I come, and I'm just staying on the grey. And you check out the difference. You'll see. And it dries quite quickly. And I'm leaving the flower. I'm not going into the flower. I'm just sticking to the grey. But I want to show you the difference. If you go over the edge, don't worry, because it will evaporate anyway. But it makes the colour a little bit more vibrant, a little darker, because we've mixed it with a little oil now. And you have a look at the difference between one half and the other half. I think it's worth showing you. You can see it. It's not hard to see the difference, is it? Right? There. So if you like that grey, I really like it when the letter is grey. I mean, don't get me wrong. If you wanted to do negative art, when I say negative art, what I mean is leave the flower white, right, and concentrate on the letter. You know, you could do that as well, don't you? So, for example, you could leave the flowers and just concentrate on the letter, and that in turn, see, looks good though, doesn't it? Look, there you are. See, and as you come round, and I haven't replenished the oil. I'm still using the same oil. Just keep gently going. Just stay in the grey area. Grey area. There you go. Look. There, but doesn't that change the quality? It looks like a print now, see? There you go. So it's worth noting that the colour I used here was Cold Grey 3, and it gives you exactly the same grey tone as this, doesn't it? I don't think you're going to get a closer match than that. And if you wanted it to be a little darker, or, you know, a different shade, once that oil's dried, you can go in again. You can add a little bit. I wouldn't go in now. I'd wait until it was dried, and then I'd go in, okay? And you can use the oil if you want to on the flower, on the stalk. Now watch how I can drag up the colours. See how it just blends it. So oil has its place. Dorso oil has its place. This only works with the Pergolina B pencils and the polychromos. They're oil based, and this moves that pigment, okay? So I think that's worth knowing as well. And then, yeah, so took a while to finish our orchid, but, you know, we learnt loads. We learnt stippling. We learnt, there's lots to learn here, isn't there? And it's a relaxing, enjoyable, enriching thing. And just like we're in the mini makes, even though we're building a big poster, we're working on little bite-sized letters, okay? So there you go. And thus endeth the orchid, and it's time for Peter. There you go. O for orchid. And on Monday, if you want to get the poster, you know, we sell them in packs of 3, okay? Then you can join in with us and learn loads of tricks and tips. The pergolinas are also available. The shady, you want the grey ones. Yeah, and other than that, Dorso oil, not too much of an investment, really. We're here to keep you company. I hope you enjoyed that. Now, don't forget, tomorrow at 10 o'clock, got some really nice stamps I want to show you. Nothing new, just revisiting some of my favourites. I just trying to, yeah. Okay, dots and spots, texture, backgrounds, grungy, Really nice stuff. Yeah, I think you'll enjoy it. Okay, so my friends, Gracie, thank you for your help. I hope that you got what you came for, and nice to have your company. And yeah, I don't think I've forgotten anything. Gracie says it's pizza time. It sure is. So thank you very much for your company. I'll see you tomorrow, and I'll certainly see you on Monday at 10 o'clock with our O for Owl. All right, go easy. Lots of love.